So you're interested in looking at and considering moving to South Florida. You might have heard of this community called Westlake. Many people have. It is the fastest growing city in Florida. And the question is, and we get asked this question a lot, Westlake, moving to Westlake, is it worth it? My name is Ray Fernandez. I'm with Living in Palm Beach, Florida, powered by eXp Realty. Welcome. If this is your first time to our channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button there over in the corner. While you're at it, ring that bell. What that'll do is that'll notify you each time we put out new videos. We put out new videos every single week. So if you're wondering what it's like to eat, sleep, and drink here in Palm Beach and in South Florida, this is a channel for you. 17 years ago, my family and I relocated to this beautiful part of the world we call South Florida, and we haven't looked back. Today, we truly find honor to help people perhaps like you do the exact same thing. So if you're thinking about moving to Florida, and when I say Florida, I mean anywhere in Florida, and you want to get answers from people who have actually done it before, well, there's a few ways to get a hold of us. Down below is our email address. That's one great way. Also on the screen, you see our phone number. You can either call or text that number. But two of the best ways, the absolute best ways, is in the comments and description, there's a link. Click on that link. What that'll do is that'll help some time for us to speak, either through a phone call or through a Zoom, whatever way you feel most comfortable. In any case, we have your back when it comes to relocating here to sunny South Florida. We've helped so many people relocate to Florida, and we absolutely love it. One of the things I've learned to appreciate is people love looking at maps. I know I do as well. When I was moving down here 17 years ago, I would look at the map and look at, sort of hone into the different areas. It's obviously definitely easier than it was when I was doing it here in 2023. We have satellite maps, and that's exactly what I'm going to do on this. Westlake is the fastest growing city in all of Florida, and there are a ton of people asking questions about it. And one of the biggest questions that people are asking and that's what we're going to address here today, Westlake, moving to Westlake, is it worth it? One of the reasons I wanted to make this video is one of the places that we get asked about most often, one of the places we take a lot of clients to see is Westlake. It is definitely one of our most asked about places. And that question is it worth it? Comes up really often. Of all the pending contracts we have currently, a good percentage of them are in Westlake, between Westlake and Avenir. Those two we see a lot of business in. Now, living in Palm Beach, Florida, we are a new home co-broker. We specialize in relocations, and it just so happens, if you're looking at new construction from a value perspective, from the price point that Westlake has and is able to offer, the pricing there is very compelling. Let's go to the map. So at Living in Palm Beach, Florida, we are a new home co-broker. What that means is we do a lot of new constructions. We have great relationships with all the builders. We do relocations. That is the biggest part of our business. It turns out that most people that relocate from other areas, whether it's in the United States, other parts of the United States, or other countries, for some reason, they love new construction. And because of that, that's one of the focuses, not the only thing we do. And I'll tell you a little bit more about how you can utilize the existing market in these communities, in the communities within Westlake. But suffice it to say, it's one of the things that we do best. And Westlake, of all the communities in Florida, we have more pending contracts in Westlake than anywhere else. It is our most asked about community in all of South Florida and all of Florida. So that's one of the reasons we wanted to address Westlake, is it worth it? So I'm going to start this way. One thing I haven't done in the past, I think I might start doing it, is just to give you a real broad sense as to where we are. I mean, I always assume that people know we're in Southeast Florida, but maybe you don't. This is us. This is where we are in Florida. We are right in this area. This is the Tri-County area. A lot of people live, this is what they call South Florida. There's also Southwest Florida. There's a big difference between the two. That is a video for another day. But anyways, we are, when we talk about Westlake, we are probably about 65 miles north of the center of Miami, downtown Miami. which is good because we are seeing more and more people these days moving from those areas up into Westlake, Palm Beach, and those areas there. So when we zoom out into, or zoom in, I should say, into Westlake, you could see we're right here. West Palm Beach is the biggest city in Palm Beach County. It is the most northern part of the Tri-County of South Florida, Tri-County area. It is still considered the Tri-County area. And Westlake, as you could tell, is very far west. Years ago, one of the first Western communities here in the area was Wellington. Wellington is the equestrian capital of the world, winter equestrian capital of the world. But here we go, Westlake. Let me give you a little bit of history, a short history of how Westlake became Westlake. I've covered this topic in many of my other Westlake videos. If you haven't seen them, you need to go back. I've got a whole playlist on Westlake. It has a big history. I'm just going to touch on it briefly for those who haven't seen the other videos. Back in 2016, one of the builders, the builder that controls the area, which is the builder by the name of Minto, they bought all the area out there in Loxahatchee is what it was called at the time. They had some resistance by the town on them being able to do this and do that. So because they had so much resistance, they said, you know what? You can have it. I am going to figure out a way to do this myself. And they went on and incorporated now Florida's newest city, Westlake, Florida. Over the years, they started selling some properties to other builders and Wellington Regional Hospital. I'm going to go to the map and show you some of those communities, but that is sort of what happened. That's how it started, and they sold these properties to strategic partners where they feel they weren't going to be in competition with. But make no mistake, here we are in 2023. Minto still controls the area, but the other developers, they play nice in the sandbox, as they say. But Westlake is definitely a unique story. And let's go to the map, and I can show you some of these other areas. So we're back here at the map. Here's Westlake, and we're going to go really digging deep. Here's one of the big ones. One of the big competitors of theirs that they sold to is Coulter Homes. I love Coulter Homes. They are a good builder, and they're a high quality builder. So I think that was one of the things. They didn't want to sell to a lower name, a higher production builder, one who comes to mind. They wanted something that would represent the area of Westlake well. I think they chose well in Coulter. Crestwin is a 55 and older community, which is not what Minto wanted to do. They've done 55 and older communities in the past. Like as an example, in Wellington is a community called Buena Vida that they've done. But for the most part, they do more all ages, and they didn't want that part. So they sold this area to Coulter, and that is one of the other communities that Minto sold to, only the builders that Minto sold to, which created one of the other larger communities here in Westlake. So enough on the history and whatnot. So when you zoom out a little bit, just to give you an idea of some of the surrounding areas, you have Wellington. So if you go to the sales center at Minto, they will give you a history. Now, first off, if you walk into the sales center on your own, you are absolutely crazy. More on that later. I'll tell you a little bit more about independent representation. But when we walk into the sales center together, I'm hoping that's the case, that you do the right thing. They will tell you a little bit about the history of Minto, what's it about, and that's the right way to do it. I got to say this, you really need to get some planning. If you just walk into the sales center on any Saturday, you're not going to get the right. Even with me, you're not necessarily going to get a consultant because they are really busy. They'll give you a pass and take you to the models. It's one of the things you want to avoid. Reach out to our office. I'd like to tell you how to navigate that, because it really can make a difference on whether you are using your time productively in exploring Westlake. So as you can see here, Westlake, it's pretty far west. One of the questions we have, and it directly attribute to the "is it worth it" question. How far is Westlake from the beach? Get that question all the time. From here to there, that's about a half hour. Just so you know, that's why the map is good here. It's probably about 15 miles, almost 15 miles from there to there. If you are on Westlake, one of the things about Westlake is you have two main roads. Here you have North Lake that comes through here, and Southern Boulevard, which is the best road to go east and west in our area here. that's how you're going to go east and west. So you're going to probably drive down here to get to the beach, which is one of the nicest beaches here, which is the beach of Palm Beach. In this area, there are 3 big master plan communities. Westlake is one of them. Westlake is the biggest. Westlake is over 4,000 homes. That's also a question. And one of the things it really is directly attributed to the cost of your HOA. More on that in a minute. The other 2 master plan communities is one of them is right here, Arden. It's right here. Yeah, you can see Arden Clubhouse. Now, Arden was the first one that started working. They started developing as a master plan community. Westlake shortly thereafter, and the other one that's taken place now, a little bit more recent years, a little bit newer, and probably a little bit more money is up here in Avenir. We have done business on all these communities, so if you want to, reach out to our office, obviously, if you have questions, but go back to our channel if you want to see more about what all these master plan communities are about. So if you go into, as I was starting to say, if you go into the sales center, they are going to tell you in Westlake how close you are to Wellington. There's a reason for that. Right now, there's no town center. There will be a town center in Westlake. And they want people to realize that, because when you go there now in 2023, it might seem like it's in the middle of nowhere. It's not really in the middle of nowhere, but they want you to know that they're pretty close to Wellington. Wellington has a ton of shopping. You have the Wellington Green Mall. You have all the businesses up and down State Road 7 or Route 441. It's near Palm Beach, runs into Royal Palm Beach. So there is a lot of shopping. So when you go into Westlake, they want to make sure you know that it's near the shopping, because they want to make sure you know that Westlake is worth it. So let's zoom out a little bit. I want to go deeper into this. We talked about Crestwind. Here's the Minto Sales Center. Now here I'm going to talk about independent representation. All right. So if you go into the sales center on your own, you will not get on the first visit. The first visit, that's the key. You will not get independent representation at that point forward. They will, even if you just go to check out the models and you don't speak to anyone, they consider that a visit, and they won't allow you independent representation from other realtors, such as our group here at Living in Palm Beach, Florida. That's truly a shame. I cannot even tell you how many calls we get. Well, I was just in Minto. I saw your video afterwards, and I tell them at that point, I really cannot help them. I mean, I'll speak to them, I'll take questions, but for the most part, I can't help them. We can't help them. We bring a lot of value to the process as an independent person on your side. If you go directly to the builder, whether it's Skyco, we'll go talk about them in a minute, or Minto or Crestwind, if you go directly there, you're working directly with the builders, you're working directly with employees of the builders, you're working directly with their lenders, you're working directly with their title company. You need someone on your side that is independent, that can steer you in the right way, because maybe, God forbid, maybe Westlake is not for you. We have access at Living in Palm Beach to other communities. We can compare Westlake to other places. So that's one of the things you need to be aware of. The cost out of your pocket for independent representation is zero out of your pocket. It is the builder who pays us. They are happy to pay us because we help introduce people, perhaps like you, to their beautiful community. We have no bias. So like I said, if there's another community that fits you better, we are going to let you know. Also, in many of these communities, there are existing homes for sale, and they're not going to tell you that. They don't want you to buy those. We will help you, let you know what is out there in the market, aftermarket, because sometimes people buy into these communities and they get transferred back to their whatever state they came from. And that happens a lot, and their homes go for sale. So we can help you. We can help you, let you know what's out there, and keep a keen eye as to what's trading, selling at what prices. So that's one of the benefits to having independent representation. We will be, last point on this, we will be there for the whole process. It's not that we just make the introduction. We're there. We'll help you with the contract. Help. We're not lawyers, but we'll help look over the contract with you. We'll help you with the inspections. If you are out of town and you want people to check on your home from time to time as it's being built, we do this all the time. I personally do this. I will go there and film it for you, and as it's being built, we do that regularly. So that is some of the benefits when it comes to getting independent representation at Westlake and other new construction communities. So back to this map, and that's again the Westlake Sales Center. I want to go into Sky Cove. I got to talk about this because they're getting close to being done. Well, in here is Skyco. Let's suffice it. This is Skyco. They're really good with. There you go. They're really good with the schools. If you have questions on the schools, here are the schools. I will send this to you. There are we get tons of questions on schools. I have a list of their elementary, middle, and high school. The public schools, their private schools. A little bit more on that later. But Sky Cove is they're almost sold out. They are a let me see. You can get here from. So here is Sky Cove. Sky Cove is right here. You know what's funny is when you're looking at the like here's the Minto, here's Hammocks. That's the very first community to be built in Westlake. Was the Hammocks. That's where they currently have the models for all their two lower collections. And you could see the signs for Sky Cove literally right across the way. Sky Cove is a label and company builder. There is a history between that company and Minto, so that's why they got that contract. They have a very favorable complementary relationship. And you can see here's Sky Cove. Here's the deal with Sky Cove. We've done a lot of business there. They're almost sold out. Here we are in 2023. They're almost sold out. There are probably about 10 homes left. Believe it or not, there are some pretty good home sites left. We did a couple of them recently that were some of the best in the community. We like Sky Cove a lot. They started with one side and then they went to the other side, and the second side is now almost complete at Sky Cove. Here's the deal with that. We used to find that when people were looking at Sky Cove originally, they were looking at the houses were too small for them. That was the feedback we got. They ended up building some bigger models towards the end. Their largest home now is 2,822 square feet. So if you're okay with being a little bit lower than 3,000 square feet, and a lot of people can be or are, then Sky Cove is good. I think the quality of their build is good. So we've had lots of success in there, and also now as things have as time has gone by, as I mentioned before with existing homes, there are some resales. Reach out to our team if you're interested in learning more about what might or might not be available in Sky Cove and other Minto and other Westlake communities. So we're going to zoom out from Sky Cove. I got to say this. Minto sold a lot of property to Wellington Regional Hospital. They've built this ER, the emergency room at Westlake. The idea is that they're going to build all back here. This is going to be a big hospital. We get lots of questions on that kind of stuff. As you're coming up, this is Seminole Pratt Whitney, which is the main street going north and south to Westlake. We get a lot of, this is how people get it, whether you're coming north or south. This just started pretty closely. There's a sign for this now. It's called Westlake Landings. It's going to be commercial property. So one of the things that we find is that people sometimes are impatient, and they say, when are things being built? Well, as we see progress, people feel more comfortable. But here's the truth. This is the nuts and bolts of is Westlake worth it? The truth is, if you have better vision, if you get in early, generally speaking, you get better prices. I go back to my story. When we bought our new construction home, we bought it off a floor plan. There was not a model of it. Because of that, the home was less expensive. We've got a brilliant home. We're one of the nicest homes in our community. And it's because we had the vision, and we tried to, and we were able to see what the story was told. Everything is a story. Westlake is a story. There's going to be a lot of stuff there. The town center, when they take it to the Minto Sales Center, and they go through the whole story of Westlake, they will tell you that the property, the town center look at City Place. We call it City Place. They now call it the Square. Some people still call it Rosemary Square. It's changed its names a few times. But if you look at a map of the Square or City Place, that is what they're hoping that the town center will look like. It is mixed use. So there will be some they probably throw some townhouses in there, maybe. There's going to be stores, shops, restaurants. That's the idea. City Place and the Square are some of the nicest places. If you're coming into a visit to Palm Beach, you need to see that area to get a good idea of what the area is about. If you're interested in in coming to the area, deciding if this area is a place for you, reach out to our team. We're developing what we call a hotspots map. We're not going to be going with you on your preliminary visit, but I will say this is we can help direct you because you need to know the difference between Westlake and Wellington. That's your first step when you're relocating to our area, is getting to know the differences between Westlake, Wellington, Jupiter, Boca Raton, and we'd love to help you with that process. So is Westlake worth it? Well, you are so early in the process. When these things come in, the city places, the town center, and everything that's coming in, we're already starting to see it. Westlake will look a million times different in 2 years, trust me. People say, oh, it's going to take 10 years. They started in 2016, remind you, and here we are in 2023. So even if that were true, we're almost there. Prices will go up as things develop. Prices go up. I see this all the time. Look at the clubhouses. When the communities build their clubhouses, not just Westlake, but in other communities, once they build their clubhouses, they raise prices. The same is going to be here when it comes, as the area becomes more developed, the demand will get higher and prices will rise in Westlake. That's just the way things go. That's, of course, in a normalized market, and anything but normalized in recent years. But that is one of the reasons why I personally feel that Westlake is worth it. All right, moving on. Let's go to the, I got to take it to the adventure park because that's one of the things that people say. So this map is still a little bit on the older side, meaning it's a little bit aged. It looks, this is the way the pool looks. So, but all this stuff around it is a little bit more developed than here we are in 2023. Here's your parking lot. Over here, you have like electric charging stations. So every time I come here, there's a lot of Teslas charging their cars in here. The models for Westlake are right across the way here in Hammocks. This is Hammocks in here. So that's one of the first communities. I will tell you about what they're selling now in a minute, but this is the adventure park. The adventure park is excellent. The type of people that are attracted to Westlake are lean HOA people. HOAs will protect you from people not mowing their lawn for 2 months and having their grass like 14 feet high. That's one of the things they do. But on the other hand, there are some communities that have very expensive HOAs, especially if you look at a 55 and older community. I'm not seeing Crestwin. Crestwin is one of the lowest 55 and older community from an HOA perspective, HOA fee perspective. But if you go to other places, your HOA can be $800 a month with a lifestyle director and all that. So if you don't want a high HOA, Westlake is a place to consider. All things being equal in Minto, the HOA fee is really about $100. If you go to Sky Cove today, they do have a fitness center, by the way, at Sky Cove where the others don't. It's $150. So relatively speaking, the HOA fee is low in Westlake, Florida. One of the other reasons I feel there's good value, and Westlake is worth it. We see a lot of relocation, people from around the country, around the world, and people are looking for lower HOAs. All HOAs are not equal. Trust me. I have a roughly $500 HOA myself personally, but it covers a lot of stuff like alarm and lawn maintenance. But in general, the trend is people are going to more affordable, more cost-effective HOAs, and that's one of the reasons why Westlake is the fastest growing city in all of Florida. So it's what I find funny. We're back to the adventure park. What I find funny is sometimes they will come here from other parts of the country, and the time that they come to this community, to this pool right here, this thing right here, they'll come here like on a Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock and no one will be there. Go figure, school time too. And they'll say, oh, there's no one here. I'm a little bit concerned about that, Ray. And I'm like, it's Wednesday, it's 9 o'clock in the school. So don't base how you see this park at any given time. I'm trying to, I'll drop some B-roll of some venture park scenes that we have. This place is very crowded especially on Saturdays. They actually are building, it's right over here. They're building an adult pool. So if you want, I've used this term before, if you parents want to keep your sanity, you can leave the kids here and you can go over to the adult pool for a little bit of relaxation. I think that's a great idea. But the HOAs are leaner here. You know, this is what you get. If you live in Westlake, this is your this is the community. This is the amenity you're going to get. The other thing you have to be, you have to be aware of with the HOA is you're going to have to also pay for your lawn maintenance and things like that. The other thing it does cover is they have virtual gates. They have either codes or virtual gates. Once the community turns over, the board will decide what direction they want to go on that. That's true of every community, but that's going to be the case in Westlake. Reach out to our office if you want to learn more on that, but that's how it works. But you will live in a gated, and we get most people we find that are relocating here want gated communities, and Westlake is a gated community. Basically, if you're coming into town and you're looking at these communities, you're going to be asked on a couple of things. Well, there used to be a community called, I say used to be, there might still be some. Here we are in 2023, community called the Estates. We've done a video on that before. Check that one out. But for the most part, they are selling the orchards. When it comes to single family homes, they're primarily focusing on the orchards. So when you're in Westlake here, you're going to come down this road, and right in here, in this area here, is where the orchards is. They're in phase 2 of the orchards. They are about 55 today here in 2023, 55% sold. They are selling fast. If you are looking for single family homes, they have 3 collections over at Minto. They take the first 2 collections, the orchards, the Estates, which is the other community up over here in this area here, this little area right in there, very exclusive. If you want resales, check that out. They didn't sell as well originally, primarily because they're more money. People have this thing about the lots of land. In the end, you should look at the overall price of the home. There were only 70-something homes in the Estates. Last time I checked, they were down to 4. My sense is when I'm filming this now, they are sold out. There are some resales if you want to check that out. Reach out to us if you are interested in that. Some of the best communities in Westlake are in the Estates. You get $1 million homes in there. There is a model there that I absolutely love. It's called the Riviera. It's the nicest model. It's in the Atlantic collection. They saved the Atlantic collection for the Estates area. It's one of those courtyards house, which I love that. The pool is in the middle of the home and the home is built around it. It's great. I mean, we had someone come into town a couple months back that looked at it, and I was thinking to myself, Jesus, I wish I want to buy. I wish I was right. I have 3 kids. We're at the process possibly of downsizing where we are, but the timing didn't fit. But if I were looking at Westlake at that exact moment, and if I wanted to buy and was in the market to buy something, that is what I would check out. Reach out to our office if you want to know more about that model. It's fantastic. But in any event, these are the models. Gone are the days, I got to say this, gone are the days where they were these aggressive lotteries. We used to get, a couple years ago, there were aggressive lotteries because the demand was too high and Minto had no way of keeping up with it. You would basically get on a waiting list to go on another waiting list, essentially. And I used to help, we still did, what we did back then, it's now easier. We still help clients navigate the whole system, their whole process. But you used to have to get an email at 10 o'clock, be in front of the computer and go like this. And I would say, I would try to figure out how long it took. People would be basically answering that email within a minute and still lose out because demand was so high. And I was told from a reliable source that the wait list was over 500 families on that list. But today, the process is a little bit easier. They do still have managed releases. The supply shortages are easier too. So they are releasing more homes because they have more workers available to build these homes. So reach out if you want to know more about their process. There's a certain amount you need to put down for the deposit. Takes about 12 to 14 months, depending on the house that you're building. They do have from time to time quick delivery homes. So that's something, and I got to say this because these townhomes, they have townhomes. The townhomes at Westlake at the crossings I think are absolutely gorgeous. They only have about 3 different models, maybe 4 different models, but they are, in terms of location, the crossings is phenomenal. You can literally get up, walk to the adventure park. It's right across the way. So there's lots of different options when it comes to living in Westlake, Florida. So as you can see, there is not a lot here still. This map is definitely dated compared to what it is today. 2 years from now, this is going to be even more outdated. Hopefully, they will fix this map a little bit. But you see, Christ Fellowship is a new church. That's a Christian church that just opened up, and literally, like I think a month ago, here in the area. I got to go to the schools. I know you guys want to know about the schools. Here's a couple of them here. I want to show you here now. Seminole Ridge Community High School. It's been there a little bit longer than some of these others I'm going to mention. We're going to go. Yeah. Oh, there it is. There's the Acreage Montessori Academy. There's Western Pines. Let me tell you a little bit more about the schools. When it comes to relocating to Palm Beach in the area, I get tons of questions on schools. Let me start by saying this. Just because you are districted for a certain school doesn't mean you need to go to that school. I have 3 children. My oldest graduated FSU, Florida State University. My middle guy is in UF, University of Florida. Let me segue. Some of the best public colleges in the country are right here in Florida, and you get to go to that at a significantly reduced tuition. I think University of Florida is the number 5 college in the country when it comes to public colleges. So anyways, my children didn't go to the schools that they were districted for most of their years. They went to charter schools or magnet schools. But on this list, reach out to our team if you want to get a copy of this. I'll happily send it to you. But you have in elementary, you have the Loxahatchee Groves. Middle school, you have Osceola. These are the public schools that they're districted for, and Seminole Ridge. The elementary and the middle school are A-rated schools. Originally, Seminole Ridge was not, and but in recent years, it's moved up the rankings. And what I have found is, as areas like this start developing, whether it's Arden or Avenir, all the teachers, I know a lot of teachers, they want to go to that area because they know the resources are going there. So as these places like this build, the best resources go, and the ratings of these schools, they also go higher. That's just a fact of how things work here in Florida. Continuing on, there are Suncoast is on here. My kid, both my boys went to Suncoast. It is a magnet school. It's not in the best neighborhood in the world, but it is one of the top public schools in the whole country. If you're into engineering, they've got an engineering program that is to die for. Very strong in mathematics. There's a school for arts called the Dreyfus School of the Arts that's in downtown West Palm Beach. There's a ton here. So here's one here. Funny enough, I was in Westlake. I was in the adventure park last weekend and ran into one of our clients. I'm thinking she might be listening. Hi there. I'm not going to use her name. Anyways, she said hi when we were showing homes, and she had told me that, listen, my kids got into Western Academy. That's where my kids went. Western Academy is in Royal Palm Beach. So that's a charter school. So there are options. Reach out to our team. We can tell you a little bit more about how that works. But you do have options. And what I found is the parents that are the most prepared, that know the dates, get to understand to speak to the right people, they seem to get into the places that they want. In the long run, they seem to get into places they want to. So one of the things, how does Westlake get to be Westlake? Well, Westlake is the western part of the area, right? There's an area down here called Weston. It's sort of there you go. It's similar. It's similar type of concept. Weston is west of Fort Lauderdale, and that was sort of a master plan community back then. Westlake did the same thing. They took west because it's really far west, and it emulates a little bit of what Weston's about. By the way, if you move down there in Broward County in Miami, it is nuts. The driving is down there is crazy. It is crowded. We have people from that part of the area coming to move up to Palm Beach. So that's where they get west from. The lake comes from Lake Okeechobee, which is, if you can tell, the biggest lake in Florida. That's how they got the name. We are near lots of stuff. The beaches here, we have some of the nicest beaches in the world. There's no doubt about that. Jupiter Beach, Juno Beach. These two are probably my favorites. There's natural beauty. They have this lighthouse that you can see here, and you have access to. You are literally a half hour from everything when it comes to living in Westlake, and this area will continue to grow. Like I said, when you go to the sales center at Westlake, they will tell you about Wellington and the shopping there, and Wellington used to be what Westlake is today. It was when I moved. I live in Wellington. When I moved here 17 years ago, it was not as built. I had the vision, fortunately, to see that it was worth it, and it is worth it. So the question is, Westlake, is it worth it? There is a reason why people are moving to this area. There is a reason why it is the fastest growing city in all of Florida. It's the newest city in all of Florida and the fastest growing at the same time. Is Westlake worth it? I think with all the things that are coming there, it is. You once businesses and all these activities and things come up and the town center becomes a little bit more clear on the vision there, I think people will come to learn the value. There are a lot of people, I said this about Avenir, that no one knows Avenir. More people know Westlake probably than they do know Avenir, but there are still many people in Palm Beach, and we are locals here who don't know about Westlake. And this is the kind of time you want to go. You want to get to know places such as Westlake. So is Westlake worth it? In my opinion, it is. Westlake, Palm Beach, paradise here in South Florida.